Hey everybody, my name's Eric. I'm making a game. That game is called the Godkiller. It's a 3D puzzle solving adventure game. And I'm pretty far through it. A lot of people say that they're far along, but no, you can play it from start to finish. Most of the game elements have been refined to release ready state. Got all the levels in. There's some polishing stuff. There's, well, I mean, it's all back on this status screen over here. So yeah, what do I got left? I gotta make this thing called the Death Box, which is a special case level that has a lot of animation in it. And face animation, this is actually done. I can move it up to here. Or, sorry, you can't see my mouse pointer on this screen, but I can move the face animation box up with the rest of them. Credits, there'll be some kind of little sequence at the end. There's a bunch of content to do, but the levels, they play through. They don't have any story in them. I anticipate there'll be like a pass going through to just fix up lighting issues and get all the last little bits of extra media in there and working 100% how it should be for the release. Some media around songs, some media around VO, face art. I'll be able to take the TBDs off of this pretty quick because the number of characters that I've got to make face art for is going to be pretty small. The business side, I might be able to take a big chunk out of this real quick. I'm not going to make any announcements yet, but I think this number is going to jump pretty high pretty soon. The unknown. This little quadrant here, this sixth over here, that's my contingency. That's my admitting to myself that there's going to be a certain amount of things that I hadn't anticipated in my original plan that I will pick up along the way. So I found a couple, I found like 3-4 game elements that I thought were pretty necessary to add to have a good game. I created recently a way to upload levels, this replay regression check thing, and test for bugs. That was done recently. And there might be a few more things like that. If anything, that little number there at 16% is on the low side, because I'm getting to a point where I know that there isn't that much in front of me as far as surprises and ambiguity. So yeah, let me demo recently completed progress. And then I've got some things, some of this progress is made by people besides me, and it's in my email. So first I'm going to go to my private email, which I'm not going to show on the screen, and get the latest art from Isak. He's showing me some work in progress artwork on 3D models. All right, download that one. And download that one. All right, I'm going to show you what a really good 3D artist can do. Now, you're thinking of like beautiful, amazing 3D models that that are exciting to behold. That's what you're thinking when I say a really good 3D artist. But there's more to it than just making pretty 3D models. This is true for like a lot of stuff in games, a lot of stuff in software development. Like you think of talent and genius first, because those are like the very inspiring aspects of creating things. But I'll tell you what's harder to come across: people that reliably get work done and listen and communicate well with the requests that you send them. And Isak is expert at that, as well as having a lot of talent and skill. So let me show you what I sent him. I sent him some concept art. I sent him, here's Groldy. I said, here's the concept art for one character that goes in the game. And earlier I'd set other parameters like this is low poly artwork. It's going to be mostly seen from a straight top-down view. Things like that. Okay. And then also it's got to support the Unity humanoid rigging. So I can apply some standard animations to it. Okay, then the other one I sent him was Billy. The other concept art I sent him was Billy. Here's Billy. This is a guy who looks like he's always in pain and wants to take it out on somebody else. That's Billy. Okay, so then what did I get back from Isak? Oh boy, I'm getting a lot of stuff in here. It's hard to find it all. Can I sort this by date modified? All right. So he checked in about halfway through his process and sent me these models. And, you know, they are delivering exactly what was asked for in the concept art. And he's fast. Man, he's fast. And it's low poly. But so, like, in some ways, low poly is a greater challenge than high poly. High poly, you can just go into like your sculpting programs and you just add all kinds of things. There is more time spent in the details. But having some discipline to keep a smaller number of shapes expressing the 3D art is important, especially for my game, because there's just all these tons of little characters all over the screen. I don't want to use my polygon budget too quickly. It's a very detailed game. It's got a lot of these little guys all over. So he's adhering to the concept art, he's delivering fast and inside of the specification. And then here's a close-up on the head. And he was worried that this head that on average is going to take up about 100 pixels, square pixels on the screen, was not matching closely enough the concept art. And I'm like, that you are really super close to it, admirably close for having such a restricted polygon budget. So you'll likely never see this view within the game. You'll see more like this view. And you'll see the big nose underneath and the lips just starting, and it'll be really small though. It'll be like doot, 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 doot. Like that. Most of the time. And occasionally Billy will be standing up above you a little bit, so you get a closer view, and maybe you might see that. And occasionally you might see him more like in this view in a thumbnail picture. But yeah, perfect level of detail for how the character is going to be shown in the game. So hats off to Isak. It's awesome stuff. Well, what did I do yesterday? That's what Isak did. Maybe I was just fucking around. I don't know. No, I wasn't fucking around. I work on this every day and I make progress every day. What I did is I fixed a small collection of bugs in death, in what happens after you die. I fixed a problem with the particle animations disappearing for your own death after you load another level. So let's see. I'm going to do a quick demo here. You're also going to see the faces pop up, which is about 3 or 4 days back. Yeah, so there were improvements maybe 2 or 3 days back about having the eyes automatically look at whoever's speaking, having them drift off a little bit so they're not just locked on one target. They look a lot more realistic that way. And then blinking, if you go further back, that came in. And then maybe 2 days ago, I also put in like this contrived lip animations. They just kind of pick random lip movements that roughly correspond to the length of time that the audio might be spoken. Once the audio is in, we'll get real lip animation that corresponds to the audio. There's a tool that was written a little while back that allows editing that. It works like a champ. Okay, death. It used to be that this little skull and crossbones was down at the floor. Now it appears when you fall down top of spikes, it appears at the spikes instead of in the wrong spot. What else was there? It used to be that when I went to the second level, after the first one, I would lose my particle animation. But now it doesn't happen. And the particle animation was kind of important because when you die, it shows that you died. That's all. Alright. And then I fixed a build problem. There was a build problem I had Sunday night, prevented me from getting a build out to the playtesters. Fixed it. It was just... it's really annoying. When you have edit time code and it's not put correctly behind conditional compilation, when you make your player build in Unity, it will fail at that point. And the builds take such a long time to create, and they're unreliable if I do them locally. So I put them on Unity Cloud Build, which has been a good solution, but the bad thing about it is it takes me about 40 minutes now to see a problem with a build. So if I'm working Sunday and I'm thinking like want to get as much in this Sunday playtesting build as I can, around 5 o'clock maybe I'll hit the build button, which is really a git push, and it starts off on the build. And if I see a problem and it's that late in the evening and I'm already thinking I gotta chill a little bit and get ready for the day job tomorrow morning, you know, it's kind of too late. So I think next Sunday I'm going to start with my builds a little bit earlier, so I'm not completely zonked out as far as troubleshooting them if they fail. Okay, that was like a lot of stuff that probably wasn't that interesting to people. What am I going to do in this session? Something unusual. Okay, so Isak is pushing along really fast on this character art, and I feel like it's dangerous to me if I do not keep him going, because I got something good with Isak. I'm a little bit lucky. There was a little period of time where like he took like a 3-month vacation or something. I couldn't find him. I was like, crap, I gotta go hire another artist, and I'm not gonna get someone like this good or easy to work with, you know. So now I'm like a little bit paranoid. It's like I do not want to leave him waiting for the next request. I want to just have them go doop, 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 one after another, because I really had some good luck in finding him. He's the best person to do work on this project, so I don't want to lose him, especially not before all the work for the first release is done. You know, it's my nightmare that somebody with more money than me may recognize Isak's talents and hire him away from me, and then Isak won't have any time to work on my project. So in this session, what I intend to do, a little bit unusual, is work on concept art. And I figured let's see. So I've got Billy. Okay, let's put ones down further if they're. Let's make a different concept art done. All right, Groldies. I might work on Glyph. I'll show you what I got for Glyph. I'm going to switch to my iPad view. See, I don't do this very often. Hopefully it works all right. I was successful doing it before. Looks like I lost the connection when the let's see. I think the iPad went to sleep, and then I lost my AirPad connection. We'll see how well this works. One thing I kind of dislike about iPads is whenever there's something you have to do that's a gesture, but like it's not a real simple gesture. I think they've overloaded gestures, to be honest. I think they're so afraid to put a button on the screen. Everything's got to be a goddamn gesture to get to all the things I think are super cool. So I'm sitting here trying to recreate the gesture that I just was successful in doing about 15 minutes ago, which brings up a little screen. Okay, it's not an up gesture, it's a down gesture. Okay, screen mirroring. Let me say, send it to Eric's iMac. And I think we're good now. Okay. I'll give Davey a break. I don't want his comments to live forever in the chat window, so let's clear the chat screen. All right. So yeah, this was like my first idea for Glyph. Now, he's supposed to be like one of the few legitimate friendly characters in the game. And the story needs some characters that are friendly. It's got the same kind of problem Alice in Wonderland had. So Alice, don't get me wrong, it's a great story, but Alice is wandering around Wonderland and everything's weird, and she meets these eccentric characters. You know, she meets the Cheshire Cat. She meets people that are just kind of crazy all the time, and I tend to make the same kind of characters in these fantasy stories. There's a couple of queens. They're both crazy and vicious and weird. There's I don't know. There's that hookah caterpillar thing. Maybe the hair is a little more accessible and friendly, but for the most part, there's nobody friendly in Alice in Wonderland. They're all kind of going about their business, and Alice is confused, and she's really on her own. And I always felt like that was just a little too much. A little too much to only have one character that's normal, that you can see their viewpoint from, and they're all on their own, and the world is strange, and it just felt like a little too much. So, this is my antidote. It's Glyph. Now, he's a weird guy too, but he's a nice guy, and he's a sane guy. Well, I'm mostly sane. but he's got some empathy. He thinks about the person he's talking to instead of just his own shit. He does try to help people, or at least his friends. He's not just a nice guy, but, you know, he's supposed to be relatable. He's supposed to be something kind of like a touchstone of normality in a very strange world. So, first I was thinking kind of like a professor style. You know, like a sort of stereotypical professor. And then I thought, maybe more like a blue-collar maintenance worker type of a person. That might fit a little bit better. So I've got him in a, and this is very rough. It's hard to see it, but it's supposed to be like a jumpsuit. And he's got a little kind of 1950s nerd pocket protector thing in his jumpsuit. He might be kind of a gadgety guy. He also has claws, and one of the things that he likes to do is climb up on walls and just sort of hang from the walls. There is one other character that kept on popping in my head that it's already been done. I didn't want to redo this character. I had to actually acknowledge I was thinking about this character to stop myself from recreating the same character. It's Snarf from Thundercats. I kept on picturing this creature, Snarf, in my head, and then after a while I realized, no, you got to make something different. That would be plagiarism if you make another Snarf. So this guy, I think this is the gist of what I want to do. Let me see if I can work through a few refinements on him. Another thing is, like, if you can get like some shapes that convey the character kind of quickly, that's a good thing as well. I do kind of like the idea that he's sort of like always sort of hunchy. He's always kind of curled arms and curled legs. Like he's always ready to jump somewhere, or might be fearful too. Maybe his thing is like as soon as he thinks something's not right, he goes to safety by jumping up on a wall. I like the little blobby thing up top. I do have to be a little bit careful that I'm not like closing in too quickly on what the design is, because that might lock me out from considering something else that's better. Let's play with some different things with the eyes. I feel like the eyes that I've got over here might be a little too much. I mean, he looks a little bit dopey, and not in a good way. Like, you know, I want to stop looking at him kind of way. Like, I don't know. I don't want to make a Jar Jar Binks either. All right, let me just kind of like play with some other types of faces. using an app called Procreate here. I feel like his face ought to be wide. Let's play with wide faces a little bit. A lot of times I get a celebrity face in mind, and I never want to say like who it is, because then suppose later on it becomes like this sort of well-known thing that I was thinking about a certain celebrity when I was drawing a face, and then the next call is from a lawyer. Cease and desist, or worse. I've gotten through this life without getting sued so far. It'd be nice to make it all the way to the end without getting sued. Probably won't happen. And also, in my defense, even when I have set out to make like some face that was like a celebrity's, I would always end up doing such a crappy job of recreating that face that in the end the character didn't look anything like that celebrity. So it's not a bad strategy for me to just picture a celebrity face, try to draw it, fall somewhere short of it, and end up with something I like that ends up not looking very much at all like the celebrity. But I'm not going to say who I'm thinking about. I do kind of like this sort of it's almost a gentle giant sort of face, but he's not going to be a giant. He's going to be a little guy that jumps up on walls. I'm really liking this last face, actually. I think I could combine this last face with the sort of maintenance body thing over here. That'd be pretty good. And do I want to like move the hair and everything over? All right, let me get a little more space here. There's a bunch of stuff here that's just kind of crappy. Not even worth like returning to. Alright, so he's kind of like a jittery little animal with a sweet face. Let's see. Okay. Let me start a new canvas, and I'll copy maybe this face over for reference. The rest I think I can just kind of put together. Have not used this in a while. I think add that. And then this, I think there's a copy up here. Is there a copy? No, dang it. Okay, how do I copy? Oh, copy and paste. Okay, so there I think I've got it in my clipboard. So then come back over to the new canvas. Can I paste? Please let me paste. Whatever. Whatever. I can just redo that face. It's not that hard. Alright. Back over here. And besides, when you start making like concept art, you gotta get to a point where It's not too hard to recreate the same character multiple times. So let's see. It's gonna be a head, kind of extra round. Okay, then there's a wide nose. Slightly smiling mouth. I don't think I'm drawing the same guy. I think I got him a little bit wider, a little bit more big-eyed. Let me fix that. Did I get him? Is there something in the other one I liked better? Yeah, the other one is a lot better. Okay, so the eyes are higher up on the head. There was kind of a big chin thing underneath. And there were bushy eyebrows. That was kind of a big thing. Okay. Let's go. Bushy eyebrows. Okay, give him a little chin block there. Just slightly sad eyes. I didn't like to overdo it. But if you just give a character just a tiny bit of a downward droop on the sides, it makes him seem like a more sympathetic character. Like slightly wise. I met a guy once who had those kind of eyes, and he was the biggest asshole. And it was so confusing to me because you look at his face and he's got like this really kind of nice, slightly sad face. You know, he looks like he's about ready to recite a poem or something, but then he'll just like do like something that's kind of like fuck you, you know. So don't judge people by their faces, but in stories, you want the faces to go along with the character. In life, they don't necessarily. Alright. So that's the face. I still might have lost something in translation. No, I think maybe make it not quite so blobby. Let's go ahead and give a little more definition. Nah, don't like that. Now there's a thing, like if I just make the head too round, then it becomes a little more cartoony, and I'm aiming for something that has just a little more realism. Because he's in the same universe as M, and M looks pretty friggin' human-like. And it's not a bad thing for him to not look human, but he has to sort of look like he's got a similar amount of definition, and not just a bunch of silly shapes thrown together. I might have gone a little far that way on Billy, but I think Billy's just kind of barely on the edge of being too cartoony. And he'll still work out. Okay. So then I'm just picturing his head being a little more complex, so I'm adding in a bit more of a skull type of a thing. Okay. Alright. The chin down there. Okay, I'm debating whether I want to keep it just like a circle. It feels like maybe it wants to be a circle like that, but just not. Whatever. When I get to adding color, maybe use the color to create that line there. But then as soon as I pull that line away, he starts to look sort of like an old man. When I put it back in, he sort of looks more like a tough guy, like somebody who works out. Let me try it without anything there, just for a moment. I'll just redo his chin. Could just make him kind of wimpy looking like that, but I did like that chin though. That's not bad. I mean, there's a very simple design to it, which feels like it could be something that doesn't look unrealistic, but it's simplified enough or stylized enough that it gives you something to hold on to visually. All right. So if that's the face, not 100% sold on that. But it can be close. For the concept art that I send to Isak, I don't have to have the face exactly right. I have to have the shape of the head right. And, you know, his nose and, I think I might be kind of oversaturating all the connection of the different things to the computer. So let's see. I will turn off AirPlay on the work computer. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't gracefully change screen modes. Never mind, you couldn't see it, but my other computer's doing crazy stuff. Okay, so now I've got less video stuff feeding into my broadcast machine. I had 3 video feeds going into it, now I brought it down to 2. So should stop seizing up. Or hopefully, we'll see. Okay, let's get the body in. thing with these is you gotta get loose. You gotta get loose. You gotta get loose or it won't work. You won't make good stuff if you're not loose. So that means it's gonna look kind of crappy to start. But you gotta get loose. Let's do technical pencil. Let's do that. Okay. Basic abdomen. Okay. Then there's this idea he's just all springy limbs. Always a little bit hunched. He's like George W. Bush. He's always ready to duck under. Hey, Matteo. It's a tablet, yes. Doing some concept art to send off to the Isak, the guy who's making the 3D models. What's going on with you? Hopefully my eyes are like staring down at the tablet. I might have missed you when, I don't know. Yeah, it took a little while to reply to you maybe. But this maybe not everybody remembers it, but so there's George W. Bush, and he had one really kind of cool moment where he's talking to a bunch of reporters. I'm not a fan of W in general, and one of the reporters was pissed off at him and threw a shoe at him, threw a shoe at the President of the United States. And W was like an athlete. He just ducked. He ducked so fast. He ducked so friggin' fast. And the shoe just goes boom over his head and it's like nothing. That was like his coolest moment in his whole presidency, and he did not have many. So this guy, you know, he's got this sort of springy pose. Things are going good for me, Matteo. I am pretty happy these days. Let's see. The other moment like that was Obama. Obama is in the middle of an interview, and there's a fly buzzing around, and then Obama, he's not upset by the fly, but he just whoop, and destroys the fly with his fingers, and that's it. Like, he's a martial artist. It's so ridiculous. So, anyways, those completely apolitical comments. All right, so we got this kind of body here. I got to make sure that the 3D artist guy has concept art to start the next work. Because he's moving really fast. Okay, so now let's switch to I also realize that for people that come back to my stream and they're thinking I'm going to be programming one day and then I'm like suddenly I'm just drawing, might be really, really uninteresting to them, and I'm sorry. But I'm just going to work on whatever type of work I've got to do. And I've got a lot of different kinds of work left up that aren't programming. I've got to do some writing. I've got to do music, some art. I think I have to make different animations for this guy. Because if he's hunched over all the time, which is part of his look, if he's got that sort of springy look to him, well, a lot of that's accomplished by the rigging. And if I just have him stand like everybody else, he won't look right. He's going to have clawed feet. So let me get rid of the sketchy stuff underneath of it. All right. I don't know. Having my doubts. I'll go back to the other one just for a moment. All right. I'm looking at the face too, and I'm seeing the other things that I missed when I went over the face. The mouth is pretty friggin' large down there. The eyes are pushed up further on the forehead. Would have been nice if I had basic copy and paste between these things. And that is a lot different. That's a lot different. Oh, it's bugging me. back over here. I'm going to try this copy and paste thing again. Let's see. So that maybe copies. Oh, there's this thing too. Copy. Okay. Maybe that worked. Let me try it again. Hold on. Do add. Then I come here. Copy. Then come back over here. Come back over here. Paste. There we go. All right. I like this face so much better than this one. Let's just get rid of this other one. Okay, I get on the right layer. God, this guy is looking like a friggin' wolf man. I don't like him anymore. What's... Alright, let me try this again. Let me see if I can recreate this face again. It's kind of a test to see if the face is good, if I can recreate it, because you got to be able to sort of get a sense of constructing the face with simple shapes. That's not bad. Okay, so here his belly should come out a little bit. There we go. Getting rid of some of these sketch lines so you can see the real lines that I want to stick around and define the character better. And another way to do this is just to create a layer and draw on top of it. But since at this stage I'm aiming just to provide concept art for low poly, a low polygon, 3D model that another person will develop, it's less important to me to make it super clean. This is not like final art we're going to make out of this. This is just a communication tool to give to the 3D modeler. It says, look, here's what we're trying to make. Okay, so I'm thinking, do I want him to be barefoot? I think I do. So let's give him like a cuff down here. Okay, I want this thing he's wearing to kind of look like a workman's jumpsuit. So for that to be true, let me do some more line cleanup because I won't be able to express the details if it's already got a bunch of lines all over it. Also, to avoid it looking like stretchy tight fabric, I think this needs to not follow his muscle lines so much. It's not supposed to be like a superhero suit. It's supposed to be like a work suit. Okay, I guess I'll do this part here. I don't want to get too caught up on the details either because we won't be able to express them very well. So if there's something that seems like I'm needing the details to get it across, it's unlikely to survive when Isak makes the 3D character model. Or I should say, Isak could put the detail in, but we wouldn't be able to see it because the camera view is so far away from the character, from the model. So if I depend upon like this pocket here or the buttons here or anything like that, it's a bad concept. It won't work. Okay, let me try another body in a straight down pose, which is actually the most important pose of all of them. It's the one you see the characters at the most while in the game. So I'll start, that's like his butt. His legs are coming out like that. And he's kind of hunched over, but his arms are coming out like that. So they're forward a bit, his arms. His claws there. Okay, then his head right around here. Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to see his feet much, but maybe a little bit. And let's see. His nose, kind of like that. His eyes are going to be mostly hidden from view. I'm trying not to cheat, because you can cheat in 2D art, but you can't cheat in 3D, meaning like if I want to see more of his face in 2D art, I just kind of cheat the view and have him pointing up a little bit more. But in the 3D world, unless you're just really going to micromanage all those animations, that flexibility will not be yours. Yeah. I can't decide. Do I want his gut over his legs? Maybe just a little bit. Okay. Kind of feels like his elbows are up too high. Let me fix that. Alright, now there's some lines around the ears and back that are very unclear. See if I can clean those up a bit. And I'm really not trying to make it look nice, I'm just trying to be clear. That's really what I'm after. Clear for Isak. I'm even going to take away one detail, this pocket thing here, because we'll never see it. We'll never ever be able, if we do see it, it's probably just going to clutter up the design from such a tiny space and make it actually harder to figure out what the hell it is. Okay. So the head shape is kind of important because it should match the head shape of the 2D art that I'll make later, which is more detailed. So let me do a little bit of drawing just on the head shape. I'm doing the profile now. So get the chin there, lips come out. Nose come out a little bit. Yeah, seems about right. Okay, ears. Back a little ways, and they're not too weird. They look like they could almost be human ears, but they're just a little bit long. Starting to feel better about this guy. Okay, down here I can see there's differences that I could fix that wouldn't be too hard. Okay, just wondering, are there any other kind of, is there anything I can add to him that clarifies who he is, but is very recognizable at small scale? Without it becoming like a big cluttering thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think most ideas are passing through my head right now. They're not good. So I was thinking a backpack that actually removes his definition. You put a backpack on him. Um, I was thinking a hat. No, I like his bald head. I was thinking a belt. You won't be able to see it very much. I was thinking hooks, like all these kind of hook type things on him. No, that would clutter him up or make him seem like he's something else. Um, Maybe I'll draw him again, just to see if I'm getting the gist of him in my head. So the whole thing about getting the gist, I don't know if I've got it yet. Okay, so big kind of square, boxy abdomen. Like that's it. Just like kind of boxy like that. Then throw some arms on. Give him a little bit of a different pose this time. Then he's got this thing here, and now that his abdomen is open, now I have to think, how does it end? I mean, it's kind of silly if it goes all the way down. Kind of like pajamas. I think I'm starting to get a better sense of what shapes his body is made out of, and that's probably a little bit different in this last one I did than what I did over here. Ah, no, 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 no. Ah. Oh, good. I was afraid it would lose the air server connection. I accidentally hit the button that... yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah, here I've got like this over on the left guy, his leg seems a little bit weird. Like I've made it too thick compared to the one that's top right. I'll go back and fix that guy's leg in a bit. feel like I got maybe a little too sloppy on the hands. Let me see if I can clean them up a little bit. No. Dang it. I'll keep saying give me black, and it's doing white. There we go. Okay, let's fix this leg down here. I think just change the line a little bit. That should be good. This is still a mess. Let's clean this up. Dang it. It just has to be clear what everything is. It doesn't have to look great, it just has to be clear. Okay. I'll draw the hands out separate. Yeah, might as well get the feet in there too. Wow. It's probably a little bit silly at this scale to insist on 5 fingers and 5 toes. I should probably go for the Disney style simplification to 3 or 4. On the other hand, I'll let it be. I'll let it be. I think I'm over specifying with those hands there. It's just some kind of clawed hands and feet. That's all I need. And I don't want to give Isak hours of work trying to match all the specific proportions of the fingers and toes for something that you will just not really be able to make out. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do here is add some color. So the guy just really looks black to me, so I'm going to give him dark skin. It's too dark. It's going to be hard to see. The color on the broadcast is a little bit different than the color on my pad. I can see that now. But I will double check the colors when I get them onto my desktop. Yeah, it's kind of fun coloring. Like making my own coloring book. So one thing that I did with Billy, the other character that Isak's working on that I think works well, is give different colors to nose and lips. They're maybe a little bit exaggerated because then when it's really small you can see better the face, and it will be super small. So, and this is the typical view right here. This is the real view that we'll be looking at most of the time, is this straight down, almost straight down view. That's just what the game gives us. So when I've got this tiny little top-down view, it becomes more important to add as many cues as I can to different parts of the character so that you can see what the hell it is you're looking at. Kind of like makeup. The concept of makeup is just, it's exaggerating facial features. So basically I need to apply makeup to these people so that their details can stand out even when they're tiny. Whoa, I lost it. Did I lose it? Oh, that guy. I don't know what's up. What's up with that? Oh, I was on erase. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna give the eyebrows a different color, but it's easier just to paint over them to start with. Same for the lips and nose, which I'll come back to. It's easier just to paint over the base color all over it. Then I'll come back and add the detail colors. Alright, let's do those eyebrows. I think purple eyebrows is what I want. Although, I've just got the skin tone here. Now I'll come back. Let's do the eyebrows. Okay, purple eyebrows. That's eyebrows. And let's get in like a different color around the nose. think I'm also using this extra shading to smooth some of these extra rough lines and be clear that it's not like I intended him to be some weird kind of werewolf type guy, because this looks a lot like bits of fur. That's not the intent. I might have to just add a little text description just saying it's normal skin, not fur. Okay. 646, that's not bad. Well, it strikes me that in this session, I ended up with a completely different design than what I started with. The first guy kind of looked like a Andy Griffith almost type character, sort of 1950s refrigerator repairman. Now this guy's a little different. It's definitely different from what I started from, but I'm happier with the face. I looked at the first guy and I realized I gotta look at that guy a lot. If I don't like that face, it's gonna bother me for a long time. Now, I don't just mean for the release of this game. No. You don't need to. You do not need to reorient yourself. But for years from now, I'm actually creating a character that I fully intend to be in multiple games and be writing dialogue for, and doing all kinds of troubleshooting and stuff. Let's see, is anybody trying to? No. I gotta live with these guys for years. I didn't do too bad with Beathrow Budkin. There's That was like maybe the first game character I created. I do kind of like his ugly face. But the problem is when you try to make like a friendly face, if it looks kind of cloying, like a little sicky sweet or something, then that's the kind of thing that's gonna gnaw at you. And players too. Players spend a lot of time with characters, so if you put somebody that's annoying to look at on the screen, it's not a good situation. Okay. So thinking about his jumpsuit. Thinking about his jumpsuit. I was going to make it sort of workmanlike, but now I'm thinking like maybe that's not the right way to go. Because now I see him kind of like silly pajamas. So if that's what I'm doing, I know the color is going to be purple. I could put some different patterns on him. It needs to be fairly simple. All right, let me create a new layer. Okay, first idea. Pinstripes. Okay, here's why I don't like pinstripes. Well, actually, I don't like them if I'm making them, because the UV mapping on them will drive me nuts. But something tells me that Isak is not going to have that same problem as me. Maybe I do like pinstripes because they actually do give more information about what you're looking at. So, for example, if you see the pinstripes going out like that, then you might be able to tell that his is laying a little more easier. It just has to be like a predictable pattern that you can read well. Gets a little bit harder near the seams of the clothes to define the pinstripes and how they should go. that might be too detailed. Because let me do a little test here. You get like a tiny little on-screen character like that. Yeah, then it just becomes like a light purple thing when you get it on screen at the same size you'd see it in the game. So if he's gonna have stripes, they shouldn't be pinstripes. They should be wide stripes. I did this one first because this is more illustrative of what we see in the game. So I'll just fill in. This is supposed to be multiply. Oops. Gotta alternate the right way. Alright, see what that looks like. Let's go small, small, small. See, that's readable. That's readable. So I think it's the kind of thing where it feels like it's possible for it to work, but in practice it may or may not work. So what I might do is I'll send Isak a note. Let's try pinstripes. Don't fuss over the UV mapping too much. Let's just try it. And see what it looks like in the game. And maybe I'll send him like a screenshot of the game with the typical placement of a character at a very small size, and we can try it out from there. Okay, so if that's what we're doing, let me, I guess, repeat the same pattern over here. I think maybe I should take off this detail here. I'm not sure though. Let's leave it. Let's say there's a white stripe right here. No, no. No COVID. Okay. No. Let's see, I guess it's like... A little bit trickier mapping these lines around these bends in his body, but this is the part that's easy for 3D modeling. So you just apply a texture. The only part where I'm guessing it might be a little tricky for Isak is the the seam around the shoulder where you've got the same texture but going in a different way. I could be wrong about how well this is going to work too. Oh no, if I tilt it too much, it's gonna switch to portrait mode. I want to stay in landscape, so almost done though. Almost done with this whole business. Glyph, born tonight. Glyph. Alright. Just a little more coloration on the face. I want to have a few more distinct colors. Let's take that base color. Let's make a redder version of it. Oh, wrong layer. This is the makeup part I was talking about. Yeah, exaggerate the colors. Makes it easier to spot the features when they're really, really tiny. So his nose is unnaturally red, as are the lips, but not so much so that, I don't know, it's not like he looks like a clown. But I'm looking at his face from this side. I'm thinking, like, if I had colored the lips the same color, they're not going to stand out as well against the nose. And this is the main viewpoint. So that sends me back to the lips over here and saying, let's put them back to this other color. And then they won't kind of go together in the, they won't blend together and lose detail from the overhead view, which will be predominant. Okay, so I think this is Glyph, and I think I'm done with the concept art. That looks a little bit junky, if I'm perfectly honest. But that doesn't matter. This is to go to somebody else to communicate. To communicate what is needed in their better artwork. Oh, my sloppy lines. Okay, any instructions I want to give? I'll say as opposed to fur, which my sloppy lines and the claws could make it seem like it was intended to be fur. So I just wanted to correct that. I wonder if pajama is a Spanish word. I mean, Isak is not Spanish. I mean, he's not Hispanic. He speaks Portuguese, but I don't know. Anyways, he can translate things just fine. Okay, pajamas. I hope this is legible. be careful. It's one thing when you send typed text to someone who's like a non-English speaker or English as a second language. It's another thing to send handwriting, which has its own cultural conventions. So I gotta be a little bit careful. So like this H here, I don't want it to look like an N to him. Let me take a little care. Okay. So I think this is good to send. All right, that is a session. That's a session. I'm going to close it down right about here. I don't know if I've got any lurkers with me. If you are lurking, nice to have you around. I will catch you all later. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream.